What's up, guys? So tonight I am going to try a medieval tasting. Obviously it's just a play on words. A medieval drink, mead. Now I did a video a while back showing some honey, seeing if people can guess what I was going to do with it. And what I was going to do with it was make my own mead. If you don't know what it is, you can look it up. But I'll tell you very briefly, it is mankind's oldest alcohol. It is basically a honey wine, and you can flavor it pretty much any way you want. I actually made a little bit of a flight here. This is not all the different flavors that I did, but it's the main 4 of them. I have a apple cider, all right, so it's apple cinnamon flavored. Then I have, I think this is the lemon melomel. Then I have a hopped mead, which I use pellet hops, Citra hops more specifically. And then I have a cherry melomel. All right, so we will see how these taste. I know it's nighttime, so it's hard to see, clarity and stuff like that. I did filter these. They were crystal clear sitting, but each one had just a little bit of cinnamon on the bottom, which I mixed up, so it made it slightly cloudy again. But I have them in these, larger bottles here. I end up doing like half-gallon batches of each different flavor just to kind of test the waters. But it's a huge pain in the butt to do that small of a quantity. I will make mead again in the future, depending on how these turn out. I'll decide probably just 2 different flavors to make. Might try something new, in the future, but I would probably do 1 or 5-gallon batches. Just makes sense if you're going to do that to do a much larger batch. But, it's the first time ever attempting to make my own mead, which is 100% legal, by the way. If you are an adult, you can make your own homemade alcohol. You just cannot sell it. So yeah, let's get right into it. The first one is what I called Sizer Pie. And again, it's an apple cinnamon Sizer. This one's 16% ABV. And I made this one extra sweet. I back sweetened all of them, but this one had the most. Alright, so this is number 1 here. It smells like a little bit like apple juice with some cinnamon. Or like Mott's cinnamon flavored applesauce, something like that. So, cheers. That is very drinkable, but super, super sweet. Because it's so sweet, there's like no alcohol bite. It basically tastes to me like a syrupy apple juice with cinnamon. It's very delicious, but I think after taste testing these, by the way, at this point, these are all fully aged for 5 months. First month for fermentation. When fermentation was done, I racked it, I think, 2 or 3 times to get the cinnamon out. But they've been fully aging for 5 full months now. I'll probably try this again maybe in a year or so. I do plan on keeping these bottles for another year. This is just a quick taste test on these. But yeah, it's amazing how much of that alcohol bite goes away. With age, it just really smooths out. It's absolutely delicious. However, I do think that I much prefer like a semi-sweet to dry mead after doing something like that that's like super sweet. But yeah, that was really good. So next one is the lemon. This one, it's definitely a pale yellow. In this lighting, it looks almost like the first one, like an orange color, but I don't I haven't drank much in a while, but I certainly don't drink, during the day when it's light out. So unfortunately I can't show you the colors, but you have to trust me, it's a pale yellow. And this one is just basically lemon flavored mead. It's very hard to pick up the smell. It smells like honey. I don't really smell the lemon too much. But this one, again, is a 17%, a little bit more. They all fluctuated. By the way, if you want to know how to make this kind of stuff, you can look it up on your own. There's plenty of information online. But I ended up using champagne yeast instead of wine yeast. So it was very, very aggressive. I also did a 3 pounds of honey to 1 gallon of water ratio. So it ended up eating like pretty much all that sugar. So I had to back sweeten all of them. They did come out super, super dry, but very, very alcoholic. A lot of mead ends up being like 12%, like regular wine, in and around that. These are much, much higher. So anyway, the lemon. Cheers. Now the lemon, for a half-gallon batch, I only used 3 full lemons. That's all the juice, the pulp, and the zest. I threw away like the white, bitter pith part. That one's extremely subtle. I can almost not taste the lemon. It really didn't work out that well. It's delicious as just a straight honey flavor, just like a standard mead with maybe a little bit of a twist. I was kind of hoping that would be like a big kind of sour lemon punch in the face, and it just did not work out that way. Very drinkable, more on the semi-sweet side, especially compared to the Sizer, but not really lemony, mostly just honey. So the next one, which is the most interesting, is the Citra hopped mead. So I got, I want to say, a half ounce of pellet hops. So instead of the actual cones, it's basically powderized and, mushed into these hard pellets. And I dry hop this, and I want to say for a half-gallon batch, I used 5 grams or something. And it's such a strong flavor as it is. I mean, when I was looking at recipes and what people use, it seemed like nothing. But it really imparted that flavor into this. So this is number 3, the hopped mead. Now, just smelling this, it smells amazing. It smells just like, I mean, if you're a craft beer drinker, it smells like a double IPA or a triple IPA. Just, it smells a little hot, a little boozy, but there's just a huge punch of that hop aroma. And the Citra hops, more specifically, is like a tropical fruit flavor. So it's not just that, like, pine sap type thing. It's there's a lot of fruitiness in there. It smells delicious. So cheers. That has a really interesting flavor. To me, it's delicious. I love IPAs. It's extremely dank. Like if you ever had a 10% triple IPA, can't really think of anything off the top of my head that it's exactly like, but it is just like a very strong, this really dank hop flavor. Definitely get the pine. You get a little bit of that fruitiness on top of it. But it's interesting. It doesn't really taste like a mead. I kind of lose the honey in this one. It's all hop flavor. So if you like your IPAs, you like your India Pale Ales and tons of hop-forward beer flavor, you would love that type of thing. I just really want to experiment with that to see what hops would do for mead. And yeah, it completely transforms it to something completely different and new. Quite interesting. Definitely not for everyone. You have to really like hop flavor. So, the almost last one, it's the last one that I made, but this is the Cherry Melomel. This is such a dark, deep red color. Absolutely beautiful. I used frozen, pitted sweet cherries for this. And by the way, when I introduced all of the fruit and all the flavorings and stuff, that was post the first fermentation. Some people put all that stuff in the beginning. I chose not to. It was just the honey, mixture with the yeast and the water and all that other stuff. And then after fermentation was done, when I racked it the first time to get rid of all the dead yeast, that's when I put in all the flavoring agents. And all the flavors came through great except for the lemon. And I think it's just the portions. I didn't use enough lemon for that. I'd probably use like 10 next time if I ever did that again, but I probably won't even try it. So the Cherry Melomel. Melomel is just a fruit-flavored mead. Mostly honey. Kind of like the lemon. I'm not really picking up the cherry smell too much. But anyway, cheers. That one is the perfect amount of sweetness. It's a semi-sweet. I don't have any dryness feeling, but it's not like too sweet. Like I said, the apple pie was just way, way too sweet. The Cherry Melomel came out awesome. I would definitely do that again. I would love to try other things, other berries like blueberry or blackberry or something like that, just to be different. I have a lot of wild blackberries on family property and stuff, so it'd be kind of extra special if I went out there and, let's say, went out and picked it with my family. We all gathered it and processed it and maybe made some mead for the adults in the family. That would be kind of cool, just extra special because we picked that fruit. But yeah, the cherry works out very, very well. And to end this session, I actually have some store-bought cherry mead. Now I got this today. What's interesting is this is a carbonated mead. So that's the only real difference here. But I wanted to kind of compare it. I wanted to end on the cherry note to try this. I have not tried this yet. This is from Naked Flock, Hudson Valley Hard Cider, applewoodwinery.com. I got this at an apple orchard today. I went with Christina doing some apple picking in New York State. I want to say, I don't know if it was in Warwick or close to it. I think it was Dave's Orchard or something. It was packed. It was super busy. Someone she knows told her that this is a great place to go apple picking, so we decided to go today. Long dirt road up to the orchard, and they had to wait. The parking lot probably held like 300 people, or 300 cars, but it was packed. So they had to wait. In order to let a person in, they had to wait until a person was leaving. So we literally waited in line for like a half an hour. But it was worth it. Really, really nice people. Went out, took a long walk up to the orchard, picked some apples. But they happened to have some hard cider. They had some pumpkin hard cider and some weird, harvesty type flavors. But I saw that they had a mead, so I wanted to try it. So we're going to try that right now. I'm just going to pour a little bit here. And like I said, this is a carbonated mead. So should be interesting. But I wanted to compare it. This is their cherry smash. I want to see how that compared to my homemade cherry, because I think the homemade cherry came out pretty darn good. So we're going to see what the difference is with a actual mead from a winery. People who know what they're doing. So I mean, this is like, it's crystal clear, perfectly filtered and whatnot. You can see me in there. Hello. Okay. So I smell the cherries a little bit more on this one. So cheers. All right. Well, this one's a lot drier. The flavor is pretty close, which makes me feel good. Makes me feel like I did something right making it myself. The carbonation really adds something. It tastes way more like a hard cider or one of those hard sodas, if you ever had those. It is a fine carbonation, but like I said, a much drier finish than mine. Mine's more like semi-sweet, but really good, very drinkable. All the stuff is drinkable. It all goes down very easy. You don't really taste the alcohol in any of this stuff, and it is higher ABV. I'm actually not sure what the cherry smash is offhand. I should have checked, but I love this this little, it was a 32 ounce. I think it's a 32 ounce growler. Yep. Just a weird size, a little squat bottle. Way overpriced, by the way, but it was all part of the experience. So yeah, just wanted to do a little taste test for you guys. If you're into the mead scene, it's pretty interesting. I'm definitely a beer guy over wine, but I can get down with mead. It's very interesting, just the history of it. It is literally humankind's first alcohol. Mead existed for a very long time before they came along with beer, and then of course beer was more popular, so it spread quite quickly. But mead, pretty much every country all around the world has their own history and their own type of mead that they made. It's fascinating stuff. I mean, a lot of different things interest me, and this is just yet another hobby, making homemade mead. But I have to say, for the first time, a little pat on the back. I think I did a pretty good job. It's all drinkable stuff. I already brought a bottle of just a regular semi-sweet mead to my parents, and both my parents liked it. So that's pretty cool. They were able to enjoy it. I don't drink very often these days, mostly just because of the calories. I can't really have the calories from alcohol. But yeah, just personal tastes, personal choice. Once I lose a lot of weight, it's not like I'm going to introduce it all the time into my life, but for special occasions, it's really nice. Specifically, like, for example, the cherry, as well as the apple pie. I figured it'd be a nice thing to bring to family events around the holidays, like Thanksgiving or Christmas. It's just a fun little homemade thing, an adult treat, basically. Not only my family, but bringing it to my in-laws and stuff. Going to a wedding pretty soon, may bring a bottle just as a gift. It's just a fun little thing to do. And another hobby, like I needed one. But I am very happy with how these things turned out. Super, super smooth for 5 months aged. I was really excited when I first made these. I first, tried it. The second fermentation was done, and it was like drinking rubbing alcohol. It was way too boozy tasting. Now it doesn't, you don't taste that. It's mellowed out, it's gone in the background, and it's just, it's all flavor. But yeah, that's all. Just wanted to share that with you guys. If you guys have made your own mead, let me know down below what flavors you do, how often you do it. For some people, it's like all the time. This will be something maybe I'll do once a year. Like I said, doing the half-gallon batches was quite difficult. Just the whole process was more difficult. I would probably do 1 or 2 flavors a year, and probably 1-gallon batches. If I get a recipe that I just really love, that everyone loves, I might just do 1 5-gallon batch and just have it, you know, for a long time. But, you know, these 4 bottles, plus I have, I think, 2 more of this style bottle. These were like lemonade bottles I got from Aldi's. I loved the, you know, how the cork is on this. Very, you know, reusable. Just wash these things out. Nice little seal. So yeah, those were originally carbonated lemonade. But that's pretty much it. Just wanted to share my experience with anyone who may be interested. Thanks for watching. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I'll see you soon. Take care.